Emperor.
Way slay! Not that we fucking need an emperor in our lives, but you know.
No, we're independent enough with all these projects. We're too busy. We're busy bitches. We're busy bitches. My God! Oh my God! Look what's jumped out. Busy bitches.
33 this year.
Yeah, in September.
Big year for 33. It's a
things
big
that
year for things happening at 33.
Yeah, well, so we're yammering away, aren't we? Doing our usual.
We can't just do like, what time is it? We can't just do. We've still got 40 minutes. We can't just do a simple call, can we?
No.
Right. Okay. So what we're doing, a collective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ace of Cups, first card out.
Ooh, so are we doing DMs and DFs separately, or are we doing just?
I think probably one does DM, one does DS. So I'm going to do DM. I've just decided I'm going to do DM. I'm feeling that is DM.
You do the DM.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Wait, this is going online. I need to shut the fuck up. There's a change here. There's a change to stagnancy, but there are still some blocks. Are, as we've quite rightly surmised, karmic connections. Because the masculines are listening to their intuition more and more. They're realizing the love they have for their feminine, which is where we have this Queen of Cups energy, but they're also realizing where they want to love themselves, and it's okay to love themselves. It's like they've been given that permission to love themselves and they're okay with it. Whereas before they were thinking it was a bit narky or a bit like, oh, that's absurd, that's obscene, I can't just love myself. And it's like, no, you really can, because you're loving yourself by choosing various things. They're choosing to move away from karmic energies that's really been a block in the relationship and caused no, like, complete and utter stagnation with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And they're realizing where they're stepping into their power, they're stepping into their wisdom, they're wanting to correct certain things in the relationships, they're wanting to bring balance back to these connections and move away from the blocks. And if that means moving away from karmic people who aren't getting what they want out of them anymore, so be it. They're putting themselves first. So this is how they're demonstrating their love for themselves. Because we've been doing that too. Fuck. Interesting.
Love it.
Let me just see if I've got any clarity here. Yeah, they've been through so many burdens and they're just like not down. They're very much single as well. Everything is orchestrated divinely with the Nine of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and the Sun, clarifying the Priestess card, which is the High Priestess, intuition. They've realized where they were causing their own blocks by not listening to their intuition. And so they're now choosing love over fear. Ooh! Clarify the Knight of Coins in reverse quickly for me, please, Spirit. They're not going anywhere near another woman. The karmic is gone. They're done. It's done. It's done. Yeah, they're done. And the karmic have been trying to use magic on the masculine and on the feminine, and the karmic is not winning. And the feminine is just there going, fuck around and find out. I'm all about the love over here. My heart is wide fucking open. And here it is. And the masculines are really drawn to the feminines. They want to bring balance here. They want to bring balance. It's coming. The karmics are done. I'm really getting that vibe. They're done. They're done. They're not. With the Knight of Coins coming out in reverse, that was shown to me from Spirit to come out in reverse against other people. Yeah. Men or women, it doesn't matter. Other people, other energies. As we know, a Queen of Wands in a tarot reading is usually another energy. And there's been enough burdens.
I just get in my channeling recently, and others, I've seen it online. Everyone seems to be channeling the same message. The karmics are clinging on for dear life. They are clinging on for dear life. They are just literally trying every stunt in the book. Sometimes dirty tactics, because they know it's done. They know it's finished.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're just hanging on now. They're just trying control methods. It's control methods and manipulations and, psychic attack energy. that kind of thing. Oh, so I've got cards flying everywhere. Are you still on with your DM?
No, I'm done.
You're done? Right. Well, it's interesting because obviously I've been pulling cards while you were, and a lot of what I've pulled mirrors what you've said. We've got the Ace of Cups, which is the first card you pulled out. So I feel like that ultimately is the flow of, well, actually, Spirit's saying divine love and divine passion. So
I was about to say that. Woo! Oh, I need a wee again in excitement.
But yeah, like sexual energy has been quite heightened, admittedly, within the collective for. It's up and down because we've got a lot of energies going on this March, and it's kind of like you've got your retrogrades, you've got your eclipses, you've got your stuff going on. It's like we're clearing and then we pause and we get a little bit of like saucy energy, and then we go back into like a deep healing thing where we might be a little bit angry or something's coming up, and then we're back into the love again. And it is ultimately shedding layers, healing cycles, and these cycles are the sort of cycles that they're coming to their end. They're going to close out this next year. Absolutely going to close out this next year. And that much is evident in these cards that I'm seeing here. But what the main theme of what I'm seeing amongst these cards is the Divine Feminines picking up on their DMs' little plans. These Divine Feminines know they're demasculine. Their plan is coming. We've got the Knight of Cups, and we've got the Chariot. They know they're just not sure of the when, and I think that sometimes throws them through a loop because we've got sudden energy and we've got sudden union, a man's wish, so they know that that's what their DM wants. They're in the loop with it. Maybe the DM's communicated it to them. Maybe they've told them telepathically. They know the DM's got a plan to leave, especially if he's in a karmic situation, plan to end whatever it is that's keeping him back and the blocks. But they can't quite dive into the idea that it could be right around the corner. So these feminines are like, right, well, I'm going to have to be smart. I'm going to have to be patient. I'm going to have to focus on me. So I'm going to have a discovery period. I'm going to learn. I'm going to get drop into my purpose. I'm going to pick up some new techniques. I'm going to learn a practice. So a lot of feminines are starting to maybe, if they haven't already, and even if they have been in the purpose for a while, you might be training for something else. So you might be doing Reiki or training for something else that's going to add to your business or what you're already doing or your purpose.
That's where we're at.
Yeah,
that's where we're at, for example.
Yeah.
So
and then
makes sense.
Got trapped emotions in reverse. So these DFs, when they are having these purges and these clearings, they are and I'm hearing worried. So there's a little bit of worry, there's a little bit of anxiety, but they're handling their I don't know if can I swear on you?
I said the F-bomb, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, then.
I've said the F-bomb on YouTube as well a few times now.
Shit, basically. So they are they're having these purges, it's rising up, and they're like, do you know what? Okay, they might sit in that emotion and they might let it spill over, but then they're saying, hang on a minute, what is this going to teach me?
Yeah.
And saying nailed it as I say that as well. So you are nailing it. You're nailing the
assignment. Feminine's got the memo. Yeah. Feminine's got the memo. It's all about the love. The self.
Yeah, they've got the memo. They've gone through their university degree. They're about to get the diploma. So
we're passing this with a fucking first. Let's be real about it.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, it looks good. The energy's good, and there is an energy today of high vibe and high flying again. And you know, we've spoken about, haven't we, Zoe, where we're like, oh my god, the energy's bouncing, it's great, and then next thing.
Next thing we're being handed our arseholes.
Yeah. So, but again, it seems to have shifted again into some action-based energy for the DMs and planning, and for the DFs, it's about aligning to higher vibration and frequency. I do think to call their DMs forward.
Well, the thing is, for us to call them forward, we need to hold them in the highest timeline.
Yes,
and we need to be holding ourselves in our highest timeline. And blasting that heart space wide open. So whenever anyone is receiving any yucky energies from anyone, just hold your space with love.
Yeah.
Because love conquers all.
Yes, it
And
does.
the more the darkness tries to attack, we just send out more love. We open up that heart space and we go, more love, more love.
Yeah.
To ourselves, to our counterparts, to our families, to our environment, to our whoever, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really indicative of, it helps lift that vibration. And yeah, it's not nice receiving like psychic attack and stuff, and it is happening a lot, but you know, the masculines they're really fed up, and they are standing up for themselves a lot more with karmic people, with friends, family, environments, whatever they're dealing with. They're moving away from it more and more because they're realizing, hold on a minute, I want more for my life, and I want to help the world become a better place. So many of them are stepping more and more into that purpose and realizing they may be educators, or realizing they've got to create content to help others learn and understand. And they may have to, I don't know, join forces with other people and build a movement against the world is going with this totalitarianism. And it feels like so many of the feminines aren't really focused on the 3D. They're leaving that to the masculine. They're focusing on lifting that vibration from 5D to 7D to 8D, 9D, 10D plus.
Yeah, definitely.
That is where everything's love.
Well, that's what that ultimately is, the usual trajectory. The DMs are 3D. They ground it in the 3D, and we take it up to the other dimensions. You know, we work with the 5D. We work with emotions, intuition. We work with vibration, and you know that's why we are. You know, your twin flames, your two sides of the same coin. You are the same soul in two bodies, and it's like it kind of brings me on to what I was speaking to you about as well, Zoe, wasn't it? With the that message that not message, sorry, that post that I saw about you know, somebody saying that the divine feminines are stronger than the divine masculines.
Oh yeah, ego, yeah.
And I think it's quite an important topic to touch upon, because one thing that you have to do on this journey is you have to not try to compete with your own counterpart, because you ultimately are competing with yourself. If you are wishing your counterpart ill, you are going to get that mirrored back to you. You are wishing.
I can't understand why feminines will slag their twin off.
It's such a backwards way of moving, and I don't want to sound like I'm being judgmental, because I'm not at all. We all have our moment. Sometimes we have them online. You know, it is what it is. But to put a different perspective and a different spin on it, if you are having that kind of bitterness or jealousy, or you're angry and you're like, you know, I know that I'm stronger, and you're raising yourself up but diminishing your DM, ultimately you're diminishing yourselves too, because they are the other half of you, and they'll mirror it to you in some way, or you know, it'll come back to you in some way that's going to affect you. And I do think really strongly, one thing you should always do is try to come from a place of unconditional love. Okay, we all get angry at times, we all get hurt on these journeys, but ultimately, if you can express yourself from a place of unconditional love and understanding, you will find that you will make the most growth, and your DM will make the most growth, and it's more likely that your DM will be receptive to what you say than if you come forward in a place of ego or on the attack kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Just move from your heart center.
Yeah. But I do think, you know, we have to bear in mind that DMs are strong in their own way, DFs are strong in their own way, but ultimately we are a team. You know, twin flames are a team. You're a power couple, and
they are.
We need to act like it. You know, we need to act like we're a power couple. And what power couples do is they support each other, and they lift each other up, and they, you know, understand, and they're there for each other no matter what. So
I did see a video today that someone had shared, and I watched the video and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So basically what they were saying is the feminines are the leaders in the movement, as we know. The feminines lead, and when they're leading and moving with purpose, moving from the heart, and you know, standing in their own power, that will then mean the masculines will follow suit. But the masculines are the protectors.
Yeah.
So they're strong in their protector role and their provider role and their unconditional love role. And the feminines are the leaders in the movement, because we're the ones that agree to do all this healing work on behalf of our ancestors who lost their voices for whatever reason. So there's a few ways of looking at it, but to say that your masculine is weak, you're just holding them in an old energy, and that's going to perpetuate out in your connection. So I try and hold mine in his highest timeline, because that's where he deserves to be. Not on a pedestal, but in his highest timeline. So he attracts in everything that's meant to be in his life that he deserves, that's good, that's positive, that's love, that's high vibrational. And I know he does the same for me. Like, they hold that space for us and they wish us to have the most amazing lives. Whether they're in it or not.
I think the thing is, ultimately, going back to kind of psychic attack as well, if you're holding your DM in a negative energy and negative light, essentially that
is psychic attack.
You know, your DM might then start to have some you know, insecurities that blocks the connection, because, you know, they might think, right, well, I feel insecure in myself, I don't feel confident enough to come forward with communication, I'm going to run again. So your thought process on, you know, that all your thoughts towards your DM matter, basically, because anything can be a block. Like, if you're thinking, oh my god, they're weak, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and then that has a ripple effect and an energy effect, and it comes out in psychic attack for your DM, that could cause a block in communication for you to work through. So it's in your best benefit as well to think highly of your counterpart. I mean, you should.
It is.
You should anyway.
Because you think highly of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, you think highly of yourself and think highly of your counterpart. And I do think it's not. I'm not saying it. I'm not judging, and I'm not saying it in a way of like, you know, I'm perfect. Of course, I'm not. We all get angry sometimes, but I do think it's important to, you know, forgive. Forgiveness is so important, and rectify that energy and transmute it. You know, transmute it, rectify it, alchemize it. And
forgiveness is very important.
Recognize it when it comes up and say, no, sorry, not for me today, not for me today. And just change it and change your perspective. And, you know, if you can't do that, if your thoughts are kind of, if you're angry with your DM and your thoughts are whirling and, you know, try and take a time out, you know, forget about it, just breathe. And I think that sometimes you'll find that a few hours down the line, it doesn't feel the same. You know, feelings they do transition, don't they, at the end of the day? So,
and sometimes you could be feeling a certain way and it's actually their feelings. Especially if there's anger or upset towards, well, you're feeling this anger and upset and you think, hang on a minute, is that how they're feeling towards themselves? And sometimes it can be. So it's knowing when it's your energy and when it's theirs, and that differentiation, and, you know, asking for each other to give each other a nudge of what is a symbol to know that it's yours, and what is a symbol to know it's mine. Because we can be angry with something completely irrelevant, or something completely different to our twin, and something totally non-related. But if they're not aware that this is where telepathy comes in. If they're not aware that you're angry with someone or something aside of them, or, you know, completely separate to them, they'll think you're angry with them. So it's really important to go, listen, I'm in a bad place at the minute. Someone is not doing nice things to me, or there's some yucky energies around. I'm just going to detach a little bit from us, just so you're aware, and that the energy isn't then energetically entangled in yours, because this is nothing to do with you. It's nothing you've done, but I need to just detach for a couple of hours. So, and I think having that ability to do that is very powerful and actually really beautiful, because it allays any fears of abandonment that may still be loitering for the masculine to be clearing, or for you to be clearing. Because let's not be honest, when they feel like they're abandoned, 9 times out of 10 we feel like we're abandoned.
It's a mirror. So absolutely. I mean, I do think as well, like with the energy, you know, more often than not your twin's going to pick up on it in some way, and like you say, it's whether or not they can establish if it's their own or if it's not. But I think sometimes you can pass it between the two of you as well. You know, like it's bouncing between the two of you, and that's why it's important to step away and say, hang on a minute, let's just assess the situation. Let's meditate on it. Let's reflect. Let's sit and chill. Let's go ground, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
definitely.
But to touch back on psychic attack as well, because that's another thing we wanted to speak about, wasn't
it? Yeah. We don't want to fearmonger, but it is happening quite a lot. But it is also the last month of the astrological year.
Yeah.
So Pisces season cycles are being wrapped up. And I do feel like you've said, we agree here that there are quite a few things going on in different energies attacking twin flame and light workers and anyone of the light, basically, who is here to serve a purpose. It feels like there's attacks on businesses energetically, there's attacks on money, there's attacks on love, there's attacks on self-worth, there's attacks on, just general people wishing downfall on others, and it's just dark.
Yeah.
So we have to be aware of it and just blast ourselves with love and really open up that heart space, really ground that heart space deep into the core of the earth and blast it wide open, knowing that you're protected and safe at all times. And it is happening a lot. You've got clients coming to you saying, oh my God, I'm going through a psychic attack. And I've had it as well. And
so many, like, it's actually unheard of how many I've had recently in like the last 2 weeks. I mean, I think if we want to, for those that don't know what psychic attack is or looks like, it can be, it's a manifestation of someone's negativity and negative energy towards you. So some people know it as evil eye as well, like looking on, jealousy can do it, ill intent, but the thing is, the problem with psychic attack is it's a really deep emotion that's manifesting into something that is a physical energy. So it can come in the form of things breaking. That's an interesting one. I mean, you might find that everything around your house is breaking all of a sudden. And it's like, what's going on? And you get a sign in your house, usually, when you're getting a bit of psychic attack, is it you leaking somewhere?
There's a leak in my, I've had leak. I've had, I just get random noises a lot of the time for spirit to be aware of it, or a light will flicker.
Yeah.
A light will flicker and then go off and then come back on, as if to say, right, I need you to be aware that someone's trying to take your light out, know?
Yeah. I mean, other things it can manifest is your own thoughts towards yourself.
Yeah, you can have really negative thoughts about yourself, and that's someone trying to reprogram your mind, but not of the light.
You might be really angry out of nowhere, and it's because somebody's angry, like somebody's directing that anger at you. You might start seeing bad luck. So, say for example, if you've got a business, you might stop taking bookings, or you might stop making sales, and you're like, what's going on? And it's someone wishing you downfall. It's somebody wishing that you don't succeed. Sometimes, because we are all protected on these journeys, spirit lets these little things slip through the cracks so that we can recognize what is happening. So if you start having, let's take, for example, somebody who's in a karmic, in a twin flame connection, and they've got karmic, and the karmic finds out about the twin flame. That karmic might then start sending psychic attack, even if it is unknowingly. And the twin flame might be made aware of it so that they can do something about it. So it could be to put the protections up. It could be to get energy clearings. It could be to make sure that they, especially if it's evil eye and someone's on your Facebook or on your Instagram, it could be to kind of shut that shit down and make it private so people can't see it and that kind of thing. But yeah, you get made aware of it so that you can deal with it. It could even be part of your purpose to do energy clearings on it, like, for other people as well. So that might be why you're being trained into recognizing psychic attack. But we all get it at times.
What happened with us, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's difficult. Like, this is the thing, like with me and Zoe, like we've experienced psychic attacks so many times over the years in so many really, really quite intense
dark magic attacks, I would say, to be honest. More than psychic.
Say that again, sorry, Zoe.
Dark magic attacks as well as psychic.
Dark magic attacks.
The psychic attack is a baby version of dark magic.
Yes.
Just so you all know.
There is dark magic as well. Some pretty heavy stuff. But we got that as part of our purpose, as part of our journey, so that we could be trained to recognise it in others and to remove it and to heal it. And that's why we both do our cord cuttings, our energy clearings, our protection ceremonies, our protection services, that kind of thing. We probably will have to touch on black magic too at some point.
Yeah.
Is it a bit too long-winded to talk about in this?
The thing is with it's happening because people don't want the light out there. They don't want the love out there, and they don't want twin flame unions. And we all know that twin flame unions are coming a lot this year for many. So that's why these attacks are ramped up. And it's just about being vigilant with your energy and being really careful who you share your energy with. And, you know, pulling back your energy if you think someone isn't in your best interest, or if they're siphoning energy from you or trying to steal your light.
Energy vampires as well.
Yeah, it does happen a lot, and especially with divine feminines, who are very much, we are love and light, but we'll knock your fucking crown chakra off your head if we need to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously I'm joking, but you know, I think everyone's purpose determines whether they receive psychic attack as well, or dark magic attacks. And you know, I'm a shadow walker, so I know I have to go through that, and have had to go through that to be initiated, to be strong. And this is why I do so much shamanic stuff now, because shamans work in the dark. And that's why I'm being trained to be not necessarily a shaman, because I wouldn't ever say that, because it's more indigenous and it began in Mongolia and Siberia. But Serbia, was it Siberia or Serbia? I can't remember. I know it began in Mongolia though, and then it transpired across the rest of the world to Native American. But you know, we've all got our purpose here, and some of us are shadow walkers. And I would probably say you are a little bit as well, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if you remember years ago, I used to get a lot of demonic attacks and demonic entities.
You did. I remember you telling me in your bed, the bed was shaking, and I was like,
yeah,
that sounds like a possession of some sort.
And that was very scary at times. To be fair, I used to handle it pretty well, to say that the bed was shaking. But I don't get any of that anymore. And it is because ultimately I had that initiation, and it's obviously led me to realise it. It's led me to where I need to be with it. Let's put it that way. A shorter version of the event. But yeah, I used to do it years and years ago, and maybe started in 2020, 2019, that sort of area. And I used to have it like really, really, really hammering me. Every night, all day long. It was horrible energy. And that can sometimes be how psychic attack feels as well at times. But it did lead me to doing what I'm doing now with my Pleiadian healing, you know, my energy clearings, that kind of thing. And I think you do have to go through these really tough initiation processes to be able to, you know, help and heal people on a level that's like literally energetic and cellular, and for some even cosmic in certain ways. Do you know, like, I think with the light language, you do your light language and stuff, like you've had to have your eyes really, really, really open to everything, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I describe it. You have to see the light, you have to see the dark, you have to see everything to be able to work with the light. So,
that's what shadow walkers do though. We see the darkness in people before they see it.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you can see people's true intentions as well quite a lot of time. And that's hard as well when it's people you thought you could trust.
And that's why it's important as well, you know, when you are getting psychic attack, to follow your intuition, because some things that happen when you get psychic attack, one thing spirit likes to do is to tell you who it is. And they have ways of doing that. And I mean, for me, at times I've been shown visions, or, you know, I might have a random thought about somebody that I've not thought about for a while. And it's like, do you know, it's spirit's way of telling you who it is that's giving you that energy, so that you can turf it out. So pay attention to it. Pay attention to your gut instincts. If you think, right, do you know what? Am I being paranoid? You're probably not.
No, if it smells like shit, it's usually because it's shit as well.
If it smells like shit, it's shit. But ultimately, if you are in doubt, you can, you know, there is things you can do. There's things you can obviously get confirmation from readers. You could use a pendulum.
I was about to say pendulum, or the human pendulum as well is good.
Yeah,
that's really good too.
Yeah. I mean, when you say the human pendulum, do you mean the swaying backwards and forwards?
Yeah.
That's something. So I've done it. If I ask my body a question, I stand there And for yes, you go forward, and for no, you go backwards. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then you rock from side to side for
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah.
So,
Powerful.
it is powerful, and it's, you know, you will get your answers if you need them, and spirit will nudge you in that direction. Spirit will continue to nudge you in that direction also.
They always want to help you, whatever that means. They always want to do things for your highest good, and sometimes you can feel that that's not always for your highest good, particularly if you're going through a challenging time, but a challenge is an opportunity to grow.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be positive, it doesn't have to be negative. You know, challenges, ultimately, they are what they say on the tin, they're a challenge, but, you know, that's life, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's not all peaches and cream, unfortunately, and the challenging aspects are what help us to grow and to heal, and it's what brings things to light, because if you went through life and everything was easy, you're not really going to be very aware of where you need to change, are you?
No.
That's how I always
and you're not going to be able to grow. You're not going to be able to identify other people that need help in certain areas as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
do you what you wanted to touch upon with this video today? Karmic partners.
Yeah, I think we should probably mention those, because at some point everyone is going to have to encounter that, male and female, masculine and feminine. So yeah, it's a good idea to touch.
I think one thing maybe we do a video where it's a little bit more in depth, but I think one thing to mention about karmic partners is, like, people need to the problem that I see a lot with twin flames is that they have so much emphasis on the fact the karmic partner and the person that their twin is still with the karmic partner. And that really needs to have a perspective, I think, of why they're with that karmic partner. You know, they are with that karmic partner ultimately for a multitude of reasons, but one of them is karma. And I feel like one thing if you can, to make you maybe feel better if you are dealing with someone with a karmic partner, it's not a lasting relationship for a starter. It is there to serve karma, and then once karma served, the relationship will completely dissolve. So I do think it's worth kind of touching upon that, because I think people are like, oh, well, they're still with the karmic, and again, no judgment, because everyone's been there. They're still with the karmic, they're still this, they're still doing that, they're still. But if they're still with the karmic, it's because they're not ready for you, and they're not ready to be completely in harmonious union ultimately. Anything else to add to that one? There's quite a few. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, isn't there, with karmic partners? There is a lot.
The thing is, a lot of people assume a karmic is always negative, but you can have good karmics. You can have people that come into your counterpart's life or into yours to teach you how to be loved, to teach you how to receive good energies, to teach you how to receive a balanced dynamic. But a lot of the time, the masculines agree to stay in the 3D matrix longer to learn the karma from usually quite toxic environmental dynamics.
Yeah.
In the form of a karmic partner package, which usually can be a child. Sorry, they have a family together, and a lot of the time, the mother in particular can be quite demanding of the masculine's bank balance, let's say. And there's a karmic contract to complete with money. But the masculine needs to sometimes understand, particularly if they haven't always treated the feminine fairly, they sometimes need to understand what that feels like themselves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that can be someone treating them quite appallingly, or just a money drain, you know, a money resource or a money source. Everyone's journey is different, and there's no one size fits all. But usually with karmics, from our experience, and we've both read on this journey now for a long time, we've really only mainly encountered the heavier, darker, lower vibrational energies, and the masculines have to work with the lower 3 chakras. The feminines work with the top 3, and then you meet in the middle in the heart space. So this is why the masculines lead from their lower chakras for so long until they choose to do the healing work.
Yeah, I think as well to mention, with back to when you're saying about the toxic karmics versus that they don't all have to be toxic, and you said that we very rarely encounter them not toxic. I can say one. I can honestly say, in this situation, one. Like, some of them are neutral, to be honest, but most of the time the karmics are unhealed. And I think that's the main issue. They are unhealed. They're unwilling to heal with your twin flame in a karmic relationship. So they are going to be toxic. Now, if these karmics went off and they met their own twin flame, then they would heal, they would become healed. But because they are unhealed, they're dealing with a twin flame who needs to like be a catalyst to them, and they're a catalyst to the twin flame. It's very toxic. It's a very toxic dynamic. But as Zoe said, there is sometimes it's just about learning to be loved, and maybe it's also about learning to choose love. So in some situations, karmics can be, pretty decent people. Maybe they're not spiritual. Maybe they're not evolved enough for the twin flame, but they're a pretty decent person, and the twin flame might feel a lot of guilt about ending the relationship because of that. And that's part of the battle, because what they would have to do is to learn to choose genuine love over lower vibrational emotions such as guilt, if you know what I'm trying to say with that one, because
totally.
the karmic probably isn't the right person for them, but they might be a friend, but they don't want to hurt that person ultimately. And I can only say, like, I've really encountered one of those situations where that is genuinely, like, that karmic is not toxic at all in the slightest. But that was obviously that pairings, that twin pairings personal journey, and that's why they had it the way they do. But generally they can be quite toxic. And I think the other thing to note about karmics is, more often than not, especially if it's a long-term relationship, they do find out about the twin flame connection.
Somehow they're meant to. I think they're divinely orchestrated too, to be honest.
Very divinely orchestrated.
To cause mayhem and drama. But
yeah, because it's
initiation again, isn't it?
It's initiation. It's part of the initiation for the twin flame to leave, and it's part of the initiation for the karmic to get extra toxic sometimes. Because I think sometimes when they're in the throes of the relationship, they might notice little red flags, but it's like, oh well, yeah, but they're a good person in this regard, and I've got this, but the red flags aren't really that red until they are triggered. And then, like a bull, the karmics tend to like want to be on the attack with stuff when the twin flame comes to light.
In so many ways, they find out about the twin, literally they know who it is. And then in other ways, if they don't find out about the person of the karmic and if they don't find out the karmic, if they don't find out who the feminine is, they just know there is someone their masculine cares about deeply.
Yeah.
And it's that energy that gets attacked.
The karmics tend to have a strong intuition as well. It's
they
like
do tend to be quite gifted,
like a bloodhound nose for sniffing out this kind of stuff. Like, they just know something's off. They're like, no, I smell a rat. And a lot of the time I have dealt with people that have got, like, that are twin flames, usually divine feminines, that have got a DM with a karmic, and they are like, do you know what, I have a very strong indication that karmic knows about me. And then it comes to light that they do know about them in varying different ways, They always find out. And I do think it is to push the twin flames out of their comfort zone and out of the stagnant karmic relationship, and to bring about this fire within the karmic that makes them really, really toxic, to the point where the twin flame is like, do you know what? I am not standing for this any longer. I am not dealing with this stuff. Like, you're going to have to sling your hook, love, basically.
Sling your hook. Sling your hook, love. I love that.
Why not, eh?
Yeah, they do serve a purpose though, and something we don't slag off the karmic. We try not to, because you don't want to be doing that's quite low vibe. But they do serve a purpose, because they highlight to your counterpart who you are.
Yeah.
They're never going to be the same as you. They might try and emulate the feminine in some way, but that's never going to happen in a month of Sundays, because they're just not made to do that. They're not meant to be that person.
They're different.
So it's important to appreciate the karmic, because they do teach your counterpart various lessons that you can't.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if you can practice gratitude for your your twin's karmic and forgiveness, that's powerful. That is fucking powerful. I'm sorry, but if you can sit there and say that karmic is a person with feelings, I might have villainized that person because they're keeping me from my twin, but that person is a person with feelings. They deserve respect. They deserve time to work through this relationship, and my twin does too, and forgive. And that's a really powerful place to come from. And sometimes it's hard because these karmics, the thing is that what tends to happen is they see their arse when this happens, and I think rightly so, because anybody would in that situation. And they just get a bit toxic.
Obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing, what I really hope that we can swear on.
You can. I swear all the time on YouTube, honestly.
But yeah,
I think it's more podcasts we have to be careful of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have to watch our P's and Q's on podcasts. But YouTube's fine. I swear all the time.
X-rated. Might be.
I just say it's not suitable for children, and then it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, what it boils down to with karmics, more than anything, is they are not compatible with your twin flame, and they never will be. And try and make that work. Last. It's like water and oil. It's not going to happen. Yeah. It can't. And most people will try in a relationship. You've got to think of it from a perspective of most people are gonna. So I suppose a lot of the time there needs to be that level of patience for that, and allowing that to flow, and that can be a block remover in itself. I think that can remove a lot of blocks if you can think, right, I'll let them do them, and I'll do me, and then I'll just. It opens gateways. Spirit's saying to me.
Yes, that makes sense for gateways and portals.
Ooh.
We love a portal.
But yeah, is there anything to mention on the karmic situ?
I don't think so. I think we probably will do a whole episode on that situation and examples, and go into a bit more detail so people know and understand what the reason for these things happening is. And ultimately, a karmic will do anything to hold on to the masculine, to block the union that they know is inevitable.
Yeah.
And they are hanging on for dear life at this time because they know it's nearly done. And for many of them, it is done.
It's their lives at the end of the day, innit? It's their security, it's what they know. And I think a lot of them don't really want the masculine, they just want the security and the stability and the lifestyle. And
the status as well in a lot of cases. And the constant the money as well. But they will turn nasty and use the kids against them, and there's been a lot of emotional blackmail that I've channeled for clients, and it's just they want to be with the feminine, but the karmic is making life difficult and trying to cause as much uproar as possible. And especially if there's divorce going on as well, it's hard to get that harmonious divorce, if that makes sense. There's always animosity, or it's hard to get it. Is it acrimonious is the word I'm thinking of? It's hard to reach that. It's always usually quite full of animosity. So it's hard.
It's never straightforward, is it? In these situations, I think as well, what we'll do when we do an episode on it is we can talk about karmic situations as well, because if you don't have karmic connections, people often have karmic situations. And people have been asking me about that when I've spoken about it on threads and stuff like that, because that can come about in a lot of different ways. There's so many things, like karma has a lot to answer for. But at the end of the day, it makes you answer for a lot too, and it makes you heal. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. We don't get unscathed from karma.
No,
everyone gets it. No, and it's in good and bad karma. So a lot of good karma is being served at the moment for those who are deserving of it, because they're moving from a different space to where they were, and they've done a lot of healing work. So it's like the abundance is finding them now.
Jumping timelines. I've literally just posted about that today, actually, because these really weird synchronized events just manifesting out of nowhere. Manifestations are popping up. Like the 1st of March, I had like 3 of my things I manifested. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, so it is happening. And it's important to focus, I think, on those positives as well. Positive karma that flows, because it comes. You get your karma, good and bad.
Balance. It's all about balance.
It is. It's all about balance.
It's all about balance.
Yeah. And I think that's about all we said we discussed in this little video / collective? Are we keeping it as one video?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
we'll keep it as one video.
Yeah, I think one video will do nicely.
Yeah,
I think it would do nicely because it's important to include I always do a collective. Well, I do it the other way around. I'll do a chat and then I'll do a collective.
Yeah.
But this is important to get out. What we've said is very important information.
And I think this is something we are looking to do more often. So if anybody has any themes, ideas, what they want to chat about, comment, message, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. Because we are going to do a little podcast, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think so. We've got so many things planned, haven't we? We've got so many fun things. And I think that is why we should, well, that's a good time to bring us on to our next next project, the Telepathy Workshop.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because we've got so many projects, but the Telepathy Workshop is coming up this month, the first one. So we said the 26th of March. 12:02 is the first session, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to do some promo for it. We're going to probably make some posts next week, aren't we? But if you are interested, message me or Zoe, or even comment below, and we'll message you. Whatever. Anything else to add to that one, Zoe? Have I missed something?
No, I think that's it. But we're doing it over 3 weeks.
Yes.
Probably one session in March, maybe one in April, maybe one in May, possibly. Yeah. We'll just see how it plans out, or we might do it in consecutive weeks.
I think it's important to spread it out because we are going to be doing, like, alongside the actual session and telling you how to get the telepathic communication, we're going to be there's going to be some elements of coaching and practicing, isn't they, as well?
Yeah, it's a workship at the end of the day, so it's going to be physical. Yeah,
so you are going to be, practicing the telepathy, discussing it. When we reconvene for the next session, we'll all discuss it all and see what we can do to change it or like improve, or what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, that kind of thing, what's going on, what our experiences are, all that kind of thing. So there's going to be coaching from both me and Zoe, and bear in mind that me and Zoe have very strong telepathy. We do. So we both, and we've had it for years, haven't we, Zoe?
Yeah, I've got a feeling our counterparts might come and join the show as well, to be honest.
Probably. They usually do.
Nosy buggers that they are.
They usually have something to say. So I do think that, it's valuable coaching as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think more importantly than that as well, it's a way to get a collective together that experience telepathy, and no matter what degree of telepathy you experience, everybody goes through those stages of doubt with it. And I think something that I did on my stories, and I asked a few people how they were feeling after sharing, like, I had people sharing their experiences and posting it to my stories so that everyone could see. And so many people messaged back and said, you validated my experience and it's helped me see that other people are experiencing this. And I'm not crazy. It's not all in my head. And, it's helpful, if only just to bring together a community for everyone to talk
definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah. And do we need to mention our joint coaching sessions, or are we going to leave?
Well, we could always mention that.
I kind of mentioned it now, haven't I? So.
Well, yeah.
Just on the announcement side of things, we are planning on doing joint coaching sessions at some point.
Yeah.
But that'll be more to. There'll be more to come on that one. But I do think that, again, as with the telepathy workshops, if you are interested in, hearing about a joint coaching session with me and Zoe, just let us know. Send us a DM or pop a comment or something. And that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. It's been great. I've liked doing this. We'll have to definitely do as many of these as we can, as often as we can, but we'll see about that one.
It's getting that time to do it together, isn't it? But
yeah,
at least once a week, maybe having a day where we do this and actually